But now we are asking if passports should be free. 0207 862 2222 is the number. So a 65-year-old lottery winner has said that he is using his £800,000 jackpot to buy his first ever passport. Tony Labruna from Bristol has only ever been on holiday to Weymouth, and now he says he can afford to make his lifelong dream of travelling abroad come true. Now, a standard adult passport costs £88.50, while a children's one costs £57.50. And if it's even more if you apply by paper. So should these charges be scrapped to encourage more Brits to experience the world? Cristo?
No.
No?
No.
Increase them?
I know. I think that look, £88 a month, I think you said. £88
for a one-off, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I think it lasts you 10 years.
10 years, so that is £8 or so a year, £8.50, £8.80 a year, which I think is incredibly good value for a passport, for the right to travel to most countries in the world. So there is that. Secondly, things cost money, processes cost money. And if you look at the backlog that we've had with the Passport Office, if you look at the chaos we've had with the Passport Office, yet another area of our infrastructure in this country that is utterly broken. Can you imagine what it would be like if they weren't actually getting any money from doing the passports? We would literally get our passports at the end of the 10 years. So I think that it's not really something that's feasible or viable. As lovely as it would be, as nice as it would be, I'd love to go on holiday with you, Yasmin, and us be able to you could see me in my Speedos, and we would have done so
now,
free.
Wait a minute.
And we could have done so on our free passports. It's not going to happen.
Yasmin, if you can afford a holiday, you can probably afford the passport. Is that
I don't understand the fuss, actually. I really don't understand the fuss. But you know the real problem, and nobody talks about it? The people who become citizens, officially become citizens, marry a British citizen and want a passport and the right to travel, it costs them thousands of pounds. The Passport Office is making huge amounts of money out of that process. And it's a friend of mine whose son, she's English, married a Chinese woman. I think they spent £6,000.
Wow.
And it wasn't because she was illegal and they married. It took them 3 years. And this is where the money is being made. And it's not fair.
Oh, but are you suggesting then that money should be used to subsidise British passports?
No. These are people who have become British, but if they want to, to get their citizenship and then their passports, we're really making money out of them.
So that's where you think
because thousands of pounds is unfair.
Okay.
£88, I agree. If you're going on holiday, £88 is okay.
It is quite a lot. If you've got a family of 4, let's say, that all
But
starts
if you're going
to
on
add up.
holiday...
If you're going on holiday, yes, then maybe you skip a holiday one year, you get your passport and you go on holiday the next year. OK, joining me now is travel journalist Stephanie Teche. You disagree with this, Stephanie, don't you? You actually think that it should be free to get a passport. Tell us why.
Travel is a luxury, and I totally agree with that. But I don't think people or potential consumers should be put off traveling. And what happens, as you said, if you've got a family of 4 who want to go on holiday, they're literally dealing with the cost of living crisis, and then they have to fork out over £300 for a passport. And that can put people off traveling. And see it this way, during COVID, we realized how much important was the tourism and leisure industry. And so many people in this country, like this man who's won the lottery, have not been anywhere because they can't afford something like a passport. So I think we do need to be thinking about these people. And obviously there's been this steady hike over the past few years for passports. Like it's gone up, I think, by 14% or 16% over the past 14 months for a service that is not improving. So how can you justify that to people who already don't want to travel, and now they're going to be put off because there's further price hikes for a service which hasn't increased and is not getting better? And I personally think if you are a British citizen, I think you should have a free passport because it's a form of identification. Anything I think personally that is considered ID should be given for free to people.
Well, now, I mean, it's election day tomorrow. We're all going to the polls. We all know we need our photo ID. We need an ID, Yasmin, and it's the poorest amongst us that tend not to have that identification. Shouldn't they be given one for free, potentially in the form of a passport?
Well, there are other IDs. And I really think if you...
What's the difference between giving someone an ID card just for their election and giving someone a passport?
They're not getting an ID card. Your license, your driving license, other forms of ID are acceptable, photo ID.
There's lots of people that don't have them, though.
Yeah, but I just think if you are going on holiday, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound unsympathetic. If you've decided to go on holiday and have that money, then, you know, I think £88 or whatever, what is it, 82, should be costed in. Because actually, our holidays are expensive.
Let's go to the calls. Stephanie, stay with us. I've got plenty more questions for you. Alan from Edinburgh, do you think passports should be free?
Definitely not.
Why not? We need ID.
Well, yeah, there's, like Jasmine says, there's lots of forms of ID that you can get for free. If you can't afford the passport, it costs £8 a year. How can you afford to go away on holiday?
Well, it doesn't cost
And
£8
that gentleman
a year.
The gentleman that won the lottery, he's probably spent it. That lottery costs you £12 a month, which is a lot more than a passport. And the passport lasts for 10 years.
So I see what you're saying. Just in case anybody's out there, you can't pay, you know, in yearly instalments. You have to pay the £88, I think, up
No,
front.
I understand that, but
So-
he's spending more than that in a year just on his lottery tickets.
Okay, so it's about priorities, Alan. But I suppose when it
If
comes...
you can't afford it.
When it comes to a
Don't go on
passport,
holiday.
it's a form of identification. Maybe it would be much easier for the government, perhaps, to keep tabs on us if we all
By the
just
way, you
had
can
a
use
form of
you can
ID.
use your bus pass, driving license. There's a million different types of ID you can use. You don't have to have a free passport.
We pay our taxes. Could that not contribute to
No,
a passport?
no.
Okay, you're not
Why
for
should-
it, Alan. The lady is not for turning. I can hear. I can't convince you. Thank you very much for your
I
call.
can't think of a single country where a passport is free.
No, but in Spain, I think they're only £25, so
but, you know,
significantly
nobody
less.
gives free passports.
Why, Stephanie, that might be a question for you. Why does it seem to be much more expensive here than let's say, Spain, for example?
Well, clearly, I think the reason why it is so pricey is because the infrastructure doesn't work. So that's why they keep on putting the prices up, because they're saying we're trying to improve the service. So by the more money we get from increasing this, we'll have more money to deliver a better service, where other countries such as Spain, France, Germany, they have a very efficient service. That's why they do not need to put the prices up. But I think what's happened is for the passport service in this country, it's gone over its head. It was clear during COVID, the amount of backlog, people sometimes are waiting up to 10 weeks for processing. I think there needs to be some more clarity between the passport service and people who do want to, you know, go on holiday but are really put off, to understand why are we paying so much for a passport.
Let's go back to the calls. Helen from Dorset, what's your view when it comes to passport charges?
No, you should pay for them.
Tell me why.
I'll tell you why. I pay for mine.
Okay, you tell me why you pay for yours.
I paid for mine because I had to.
Yes, okay, got you. We've covered the basics. Now, let's say you didn't have to. Would that be reasonable?
Well, we all pay for a passport. That chap that won the lottery,
Yeah, I mean,
he's won there.
things change, Helen, so we're suggesting that maybe this needs to be changed to free up the ability for those that are perhaps not financially as well off to be able to go abroad and see the world just like you and I can.
Well, that's their hard luck.
Oh, that sounds quite unsympathetic, Helen.
Well, it's unsympathetic. I had to pay for my passport. Why shouldn't they pay for theirs?
Okay, Helen, I mean, it's quite hard to make changes in the world when you think if you suffered, somebody else should have to suffer too, but I take your point. Everyone has to pay at the moment. Janet from Lincolnshire, this is becoming a very hard sell. Not many people think we should be able to get a passport for free. Can you defend it?
I can.
Oh.
My son has seizures, so he cannot drive, so he can't get a driving licence. Because of disability and one thing and another, he can't afford a holiday. so he can't afford a passport. Now, at the moment, to be able to vote, you need a form of identification.
Yes.
How are you supposed to do that?
Well, this was my point earlier, but apparently there's lots of identification you can get.
It free online. I mean, I don't know whether it would come in time for the election now, but there was a free way.
I did think there was another
of being able to go online and actually get the ID required in order to allow you to vote.
Yeah, but this is my point, Cristo. If you are going to go online and get a free identification in order to be able to vote, why can't they just make that free identification a passport?
Because
what's the difference between making a card and a book?
I would imagine that a passport is a much more complicated document. It has, an electronic thing in it. It has, it's a more complicated document. It's a bigger document than a simple card, and so
slightly more expensive.
But also just very quickly.
Stamps. But I think where Stephanie's absolutely right is the inefficiency.
Yeah.
In the passport office. It has been catastrophic, where she's absolutely right about that.
And the thing that I think would help people a lot more is actually the cost of getting to the airport on the train, for instance, should be cheaper. The duties that we pay on getting a flight should be cheaper. That's where I would perhaps make some changes to make it more accessible.
We start with one debate and we can drift on to other debates very quickly.